we have the Extreme E season opener this weekend. What do you think about how they've progressed as a series? Do you think that they're moving in the right direction and they're making the changes they need to kind of increase in popularity?
I definitely think so. I think there's it's hard with the new series. I think best comparison probably is Formula E in this situation, is there's always going to be teething problems. Like Formula One is over 70 years old, and as we saw in Abu Dhabi, they've still got teething problems after all that time. You're never going to please everyone, but I think Extreme E's taken a lot of lessons. I think the fact that they've got obviously like Jenson Button's team, Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton involved, they've got some amazingly talented drivers. The fact that they've done that one seat has to be filled by a female driver, couldn't be happier. The fact that they're getting the spotlight, and also the fact that it's broadcast. I think that the fact that they'll be on, I think it's ITV this time around, is crucial to get that exposure. Formula E has the situation, they now have to deal with Channel 4, but part of their season is broadcast on YouTube, part of the season's on TV, and it just means fans can't easily access that series, and it ultimately does come at the cost of the championship at the end of the day because it doesn't get that exposure. Whereas Extreme E seems to have a bit more of a grasp on it. I also think the format is incredibly interesting. The fact that they're not they're not scared to change things if things don't work. They've just released the format changes, and I actually need to fully read up on them to get a grasp of them. But they do kind of a mix of like a crazy race and qualifying different heats and things like that. It's the 6th format change that they've had. Yes, there's an argument, are they changing it too much too often? But they're in the second season now. You're going to be changing your format probably for the rest of the championship's existence. I'd rather a format and a series turn around and say, this isn't working, fans don't like it, let's change it and listen to their feedback, than being stubborn and stuck in their ways. And I'm excited to see what the potential with the calendar. They were down in Dorset at the back end of last year, and I think taking this series to different places across the world, you can't say how important it is. I think Formula One at the moment misses out on the fact that they don't have a race in Africa. I think they've massively overlooked the potential there. I know they're focusing on America right now, but I think at some point that American bubble is going to burst and it's going to backfire if they don't get a grasp on other nations beyond North America. But at the end of the day, I think Extreme is an exciting potential, and it'll be interesting to see, because it's such a shorter calendar and kind of spotted in and out, whether drivers will mix it up with a couple of other things. A joke, I'd love to see Kimi Räikkönen do it, because I know he's got a rally background, but I don't think
that would be incredible. Yeah, that's a great shout.
Well,
that would be brilliant.
He's gone. Oh, what's he going to do? He's gone to work. What Superbikes? Oh,
is it motocross?
Motocross. That's it.
Yeah.
I've got bikes in my head because thinking of Herbie Blash earlier.
No, I agree. I think Extreme E, because it's only in its 2nd season, I mean, you can look back even at the second up to, I think, like the 4th Formula E season, where they were swapping cars halfway through the races, right? And that dynamic now just doesn't happen at all in Formula E. And it was a really important thing, and they completely changed that bit of the format. And I think now it is more engaging, where it's just 45-minute straight fight. We still have the attack mode in Formula E, but it's a bit more simple and obvious to the fans. And I think Extreme E is kind of learning that lesson as well, where it's taking feedback from the fans, but you can't take too much feedback because you're also coming up with new ideas yourselves. So it's a bit of a balancing act of trying to make the fans happy, but also introducing new things that they've never seen before, that they don't know whether they like it or dislike it yet, because you have to have that opportunity to provide new ideas. And it's really important for racing series to be sort of encouraged to take those new ideas and take those risks, because kind of what it's all about, taking that risk and seeing how far you can take that risk, I think, is bringing that to a new series and an electric off-road series with that kind of inbuilt messaging is I think it's got a potentially bright future for Extreme E, but we'll see. I
think it does. I think it fits quite a niche market quite well. It has a very unique spot compared to the likes of the other rallying series is out there. I think also the fact that they've learned lessons from Formula E, for example, whether the argument whether fan boost is an artificial enhancement in Formula E for drivers that are popular, whereas in Extreme E it's grid play and it's you pick where you start in the grid slot. So it has an impact, gets the fans involved without giving them too much of an advantage. And I like the fact that they've taken those lessons and learned them, because ultimately I think Formula One could do it a lot more often and look at where they've gone.